So let's get right into it. We're looking at what might be one of the most important partnerships for the future of internet safety. Mozilla, the people behind Firefox, basically handed the keys to the AI company Anthropic and said, unleash your AI on our browser. The mission? To hunt for hidden security flaws. And what they found? Well, it was pretty incredible.
22. That's the number. At first glance, you might think, okay, 22, what's the big deal? But in cybersecurity, a number like this, found this quickly, is a massive red flag. So what exactly is it?
It's the number of confirmed security holes that Anthropic's AI, Claude, discovered in Firefox. And get this, it did it in just 2 weeks. We're not talking about a huge team of human experts digging around for months. This was one AI turning one of the world's most trusted browsers inside out at a mind-blowing speed. To really get our heads around this, here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll talk about the sheer scale of the challenge with a skyscraper of code. Then, we'll introduce the star of the show, the AI bug hunter. After that, we'll explore why this partnership is so important in an alliance for security. And finally, we'll look at the bigger picture, what this all means for the future in the new arms race.
All right, so let's start with the why. Why is finding bugs in a browser so hard in the first place? Well, it all comes down to one thing, just unbelievable, mind-boggling complexity. I think this is the perfect way to picture it. A modern browser like Firefox isn't just a simple program. It's a colossal structure. We're talking millions upon millions of lines of code that all have to interact perfectly. One tiny mistake, a single misplaced semicolon, can create a vulnerability that opens a door for attackers. And to put a real number on that skyscraper, Claude scanned almost 6,000 C++ files inside Firefox's code. For a team of human engineers to go through that much code line by line would be a gigantic effort, easily taking months. The AI did it in days. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. This isn't some abstract technical problem. Your browser is literally your shield against the wild west of the internet. You visit untrusted websites every single day, and you count on that browser to protect you. So a flaw here isn't just a bug, it's a direct threat to your data, your privacy, and your security. So you've got this skyscraper-sized problem. You can't solve it with old tools. You need a completely new kind of solution. And that brings us to the AI at the center of all this. Now, this is not your average AI. Claude is a frontier model, and it has a superpower, a massive context window. Okay, think of it like this. Most AIs read a book a few pages at a time. By the time they get to the end, they've forgotten the beginning. Claude can read the entire library at once. It can see all 6,000 of those files and understand how they all connect. That's how it spots these complex, so-called zero-day vulnerabilities that even the human experts who wrote the code had missed. And the speed. I mean, just look at this timeline. It is absolutely wild. 20 minutes. 20 minutes after being pointed at Firefox's JavaScript engine, Claude found its first major bug. A few hours later, it had 50 more ways to crash the browser. And after 2 weeks, it had filed 112 totally unique reports for Mozilla's team to look at. That kind of pace, it's just never been seen before. And it's not just flagging problems and then walking away. The whole process is incredibly smart. First, the AI scans all that code. Then it figures out a specific way to make the browser crash. Then it analyzes why it crashed to pinpoint the exact vulnerability. But here's the real kicker. It then suggests a patch, a potential fix for the code, for the human engineers to review. So it's not just a bug hunter, it's more like a security co-pilot. Okay, so the technology is amazing, but making it actually work in the real world takes more than just a smart algorithm. It requires a pretty unique partnership. So let's talk about the who and why behind this team up. See, this wasn't just some random corporate deal. You've got Mozilla, which is famously obsessed with user privacy and protects hundreds of millions of people. And then you have Anthropic, an AI company literally founded on the principle of AI safety. This is an alliance built on a shared mission. This isn't about using AI to snoop on you. It's about two trusted organizations using AI as a digital shield to protect you. And that trust was built on a really effective process. Anthropic didn't just throw a messy list of bugs over the fence. For each one, they gave Mozilla a clean, simple test case to prove the bug was real, a detailed explanation of how it worked, and those candidate patches we talked about. This made it super easy for Mozilla's engineers to verify everything and, more importantly, to fix it fast. And the impact was huge. Out of those 22 confirmed bugs, Mozilla classified 14 of them as high severity. Now, to put that into perspective, those 14 bugs alone were almost a fifth of all the high-severity bugs that were fixed in Firefox in the entire year before, all found by one AI in 2 weeks. So this all sounds like great news for the defenders, for the good guys, right? But this powerful new capability, it opens up a much bigger and honestly a much more complicated question about what cybersecurity is going to look like from now on.
The researchers at Anthropic didn't just stop at finding the bugs. They pushed Claude to see if it could also exploit them, to write the actual malicious code a hacker would use. And what they found tells us everything about where we are right now. There is a huge gap. The AI is fantastic at finding flaws, but it's actually really bad at weaponizing them.
And this gives the defenders a massive head start. But, and this is a huge but, it is almost certainly temporary. We're in this brief window where our tools for finding problems are way ahead of the tools for causing them. But everyone agrees that this window will not stay open for long.
Because here's the concerning part. Even though it was really difficult, Claude did manage to create a very basic exploit in 2 cases. Now, to be clear, this was in a lab setting with a bunch of security features turned off. It's not a real-world threat today, but it is a proof of concept. It shows that AI-generated attacks are on the horizon. The only difference right now is that it's way cheaper and easier for the AI to find a bug than to build a weapon from it. But that word now is doing a lot of work there.
And so, this is where we're left. We have this incredible new shield, but the blueprint for a new kind of sword has also been drawn. We are officially entering an age of AI versus AI security, where the safety of our digital lives will depend on a high-speed race between defensive AIs finding flaws and offensive AIs trying to exploit them. The question isn't if this race is starting. It's already begun. The real question is who's going to win it.